All right, good morning, everyone. It's so good to see you now. The weather people said the rain wouldn't come till 4. So whatever you felt just now, it clearly was not rain, right? It was something else. So, what an honor to have all of you join us today. So thrilled taking time to be here in person. We are broadcasting live, and then this ceremony will be available online later for those of you who would like to go back and take a look at it. We invite you to do that. A special thanks, the reason that we are all here, to honor those who have done so much for this country, to the women and men that we are celebrating today, to honoring today, to the memory of those we are honoring. Thank you so much from the bottom of our hearts. I'm Chris Whaley. I'm honored to serve as the president of Roane State Community College. Let me first say thank you to the Roane State Instrumental Ensemble for the beautiful prelude music directed by Dr. Joel Greenlee. We thank all of them. Dr. Greenlee serves as professor of music and our interim dean of humanities here at Roane State Community College, and is always very kind to play and to lead, and it enriches all of the activities that we have. Thank you so much. Now I would ask you, please, if you will rise for the National Anthem, and it will be performed today by the Roane State Vocal Ensemble, led by Brenda Luigi, professor of music here again at Roane State Community College, and she also serves as our choral director.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Thank you for that beautiful rendition of our national anthem. You may now be seated. Again, we welcome all of you to this wonderful occasion. There are some individuals that I want to call out especially, if you'll bear with me for just a moment. I don't know, yes, you just arrived. I didn't do this on purpose, Regent Varlin, but I'd like to recognize a member of the Tennessee Board of Regents, one of the people that I report to. Please be extra nice to her. She represents us so well at the state level. In all seriousness, you will not find a greater voice, a more passionate voice for higher education and for student learning than Regent Danny Varlin. Thank you so much for being here today. I'd also like to welcome Dr. Robert Den, Associate Vice Chancellor of Academic Affairs and the Veteran Services Officer at the Tennessee Board of Regents. Thank you so much. Stand, please, sir. Dr. Gary Goff, President Emeritus of Roane State Community College. Colonel Goff, whom you will hear from in a few moments. Thank you so much, sir. I don't know if Dr. Harold Underwood was able to make it, but if he is here or not, we want to recognize the former dean and the first dean, and in many minds, the original and one and only dean at Roane State Community College. We hope he is able to be here today, as well as thank you so much for being here. Commander Jason Forsgren from VFW Post 6598 in Harriman. That post is a Bald Eagle sponsor of this program, of the Veteran Wave, and with their support provided the military branch flags behind me and so much more. Thank you so much, Commander Forsgren, and to the VFW Post 6598. I will get in trouble for this one, but I also want to, as a personal privilege, thank my father, Lowell Whaley, for his service in the United States Army. He is also an original employee at Roane State Community College. He hates every minute of this, but I'm pleased that he is here. And again, to all of you, a heartfelt thanks. We will say that several times today, and I apologize if I sound like a broken record, but we want you to know how much we mean this, how much you honor us being here today as we attempt in some small way to honor all of you, our veterans. You have served your country with the belief that democracy and freedom are ideals to be upheld both at home and abroad. Honoring the sacrifices that so many have made for our country in the name of freedom and democracy is the very foundation, of course, of Veterans Day. Now, sometimes we are guilty of taking for granted the very things that deserve our gratitude, but that is not the case today. Today, we honor those who understand the words duty, honor, and country. And today, we remember those who answered the call to serve our country and to protect our freedoms. Today, we honor those in uniform currently serving in our military here and abroad. So today and tonight we can live, and tonight we can sleep peacefully in our beds. About a year ago, the script says the idea floated around because she doesn't want credit either. But what really happened is about a year ago, our Vice President of Academic Services and Student Learning, Dr. Diane Ward, said, "I've got an idea." Now, it took a whole lot of people to bring that idea to fruition, but I'm going to get in trouble again, because again, I'm the one with the microphone. Dr. Diane Ward sitting right back there. Stand up, ma'am. All from her brain and her heart flowed everything that you see here today. And so about a year ago, when she brought this idea, a lot of planning, a lot of preparation. Today, we want to tell you marks the first of many celebrations to come. This is not a one-time deal by any stretch of the imagination. So again, to all of you who are part of this celebration, we thank you. There, again, are several folks at Roane State. There are just too many for me to list, unfortunately, by name. I would love to do so, but one name and one staff has to be mentioned, and that is David Webb, our maintenance and ground supervisor, and his team, who put all of this together. So, David, I don't know where you are, but we're going to give you a round of applause, too. Standing way back in the back, because he didn't want me to mention his name either. Thank you so much to all of you. So, again, we get back to the purpose of today, and when we talk about veterans, it may bring to mind the question, what is the definition of a veteran? Well, a veteran, whether active duty, discharged, retired, or reserve, is someone who at one point in his or her life wrote a blank check made payable to the United States of America for an amount up to and including his or her life. Think about the enormity of that for just a moment. And so now, as we think about that, I'd like to turn your attention to the first row of individuals sitting right here in front of me. And I would like to introduce to you, first of all, Chief Petty Officer First Class Hoke Culbertson, representing the veterans of World War II. Thank you so much, sir. Of the 16 million veterans who served in World War II, it is estimated that only around 240,000 are still with us, and we are so blessed, sir, to have you with us today. Chief Petty Officer First Class Culbertson enlisted in the Navy in the summer of 1941, before Pearl Harbor and the beginning of the war, of course. He served in both oceans during World War II. He served in the Pacific on a Navy destroyer, the USS Gridley, and then was transferred to the USS O'Brien, headed to Normandy. They came back through the Panama Canal to finish out in the Pacific, and he was discharged in the fall of 1945 Hoke turned 100 years old this past March 30th. It's our honor, sir. Thank you for your service. And next, I would like to introduce to you Corporal Charles Oren, representing the veterans of the Korean War. Corporal Oren, U.S. Army, served in the Korean War from 1951 through 1953. He was stationed in Korea as a member of the 2998th Army Corps of Engineers Treadway Bridge Company. His connection to Roane State, they are many. He is the father of Student Engagement Coordinator Jennifer Fugate, grandfather of our Veteran Service Coordinator Abby Salisbury, and father-in-law to Michelle Oren in our purchasing department. Thank you so much, sir, for your service and your attendance. Next is Major Bruce Cantrell, representing the veterans of the Vietnam War. He is no stranger to Roane State either. He served in the Navy from 1969 through 1973, and then 4 years later joined the U.S. Army. I'm gonna make sure I get this right. He served in the Navy from 1969 to 1973, and then 4 years later joined the U.S. Army and served from 1977 through 1992. He has served both at the White House and at Camp David during the administrations of Presidents Reagan and Bush. He is obviously a Roane State faculty and alumnus and a leader and someone who we cherish every day we're here at Roane State. Major Cantrell, thank you so much for your service, sir. Corporal Roger D. Guerin, Jr., representing the veterans of Desert Storm. Corporal Guerin, United States Marine Corps, served 1987 to 1992 with the 3rd Marine Air Wing in Saudi Arabia with the Marine Aerial Refueler Transport Squadron during Operation Desert Storm. We are so honored to have you here, sir. Thank you so much for your service. Chief Barry Floyd, representing the veterans of the War on Terror. Chief Floyd, United States Navy, has served in a war we have come to know as the War on Terror as a Navy Fleet Marine Force Hospital Corpsman. Chief Floyd served in Iraq in 2003 and in Afghanistan in 2010, providing medical support to Marines and soldiers as well as civilians. He is a Roane State student and soon to be a Roane State alumni. We could not be more proud and blessed to have you at Roane State. Thank you so much, sir. In 2020, the chancellor of our system, Flora Tidings, established a system-level award to honor the service, the bravery, the sacrifices of military veterans in the campus communities. The college president has the ability to nominate the campus recipient from the currently enrolled students, from faculty, staff, or alumni, and as a part of our Veterans Day observances, a special challenge coin is presented on behalf of our chancellor. This challenge coin presents a rich tradition in all branches of the military, and it signifies special achievement, excellence, hard work, unit pride, respect, and much more. And I am pleased to announce that the 2021 recipient of the challenge coin is Jason Rutledge. Jason, would you step up, please? On behalf of the chancellor, let me tell you a little bit about Jason. Born in Seattle, Washington, Jason moved 9 times while in uniform. The latest move placed he and his family in Oak Ridge, Tennessee, for which we are very glad. He is married to Angie, and they have 2 sons, Austin and Justin. He served in the United States Coast Guard for 20-plus years and formerly trained as a diesel mechanic, federal law enforcement officer, canine behavioral instructor, and an instructor for skills-based training. He attended Roane. Jason also was attacked by an explosives detector dog, which resulted in permanent hand and wrist damage, losing most of his ability to write. As Jason pointed out, writing is, of course, a key when taking English composition class at Roane State, but with the input of his professors and their assistants, as well as the invaluable assistance of the Roane State Disabilities Department, Jason developed a plan that helped him overcome not just the adversity from the attack, but also the physical disability of learning to use his dominant hand again while attending Roane State Community College. The very same characteristics associated with honor, courage, commitment, integrity, duty, respect, discipline, and sacrifice are exhibited by Jason on a daily basis. So once again, sir, we are so honored to have you at Roane State. Thank you so much. Now, due to COVID-19, there were a lot of things we didn't get to do last year, and one of those is have an official presentation ceremony for last year's recipient, the 2020 recipient of the Chancellor's Commendation. And so we want to make mention now, although he certainly has not asked us to do this, but last year's recipient, again, is Major Bruce Cantrell. And I want to ask him again to stand, please, and be recognized, again, as a veteran of the United States Navy and the United States Army. As a veteran combat veteran, he has received 3 meritorious service medals, 2 National Defense Service medals, the Army Commendation Medal, the Army Achievement Medal, the U.S. Military Reserve Medal, the Vietnam Service Medal, the Vietnam Campaign Medal, as well as many ribbons and other honors that are very deserved. So again, Bruce, thank you so much. All right, enough of me talking. Let me introduce to you our very special guest speaker for today's observance. Retired Colonel Dr. Gary Goff was Roane State Community College's 4th president, serving our students and community from 2005 to 2012. Colonel Goff's dedication to service came naturally to him. He was a part of a military family that, again, moved frequently from post to post. But while many would think of that as a disadvantage, he turned that into a strength. Moving taught him to catch up, to develop an ability to make friends easily, to be active in extracurricular activities from athletics to music. And although he says college was not originally expected of him, he always knew it's what he wanted to do. And so when that opportunity opened, he took it, enrolling in Middle Tennessee State University in 1965, working numerous jobs while keeping up with his studies. As I understand it, sir, getting up bright and early to milk the cows on that campus before anybody else was really up and moving. Now, the Vietnam War was in full engagement by the time Dr. Goff arrived at MTSU, so he joined the ROTC and was commissioned there as a 2nd lieutenant for infantry upon completion of his bachelor's degree. And he excelled, no surprise, so well in ROTC and was one of only a few students in his class commissioned as a regular Army officer. After completing 14 weeks of Army Ranger School, Dr. Goff was shipped overseas to Germany before heading to Vietnam with the 101st Airborne Division as a company commander of an infantry unit with 180 soldiers under his command. He never planned to serve more than 5 years in the Army, but a number of great opportunities opened up to him through the Army. He was sent to great schools that had great faculty, and they gave him great jobs and great leadership and opportunity for command, and he ended up staying in the Army for 30 years. After military service and because of the educational leadership opportunities provided during his time in the Army, the transition to higher education was the natural choice. He entered as a faculty member. He transitioned to an academic dean, earned his doctorate from the University of South Florida, and was then promoted and named Vice President for Administration and the Chief Financial Officer at Hillsborough Community College in Tampa. Then, our great blessing, in 2005, Dr. Goff was named as Roane State Community College's 4th president, my predecessor. And let me just go off script just to say for a few moments, many of you know him, many of you know of the character and the leadership of this man. Let me just say personally, not only has he been a mentor to me for many years, he is also my friend. You will not find a finer leader anywhere in any community college, and I would say in all of higher education. Dr. Goff, would you please come to the stage and speak to us? Would you please welcome retired Colonel Dr. Gary Goff?
Chris, I'm somewhat embarrassed about those awful kind words, but thank you. I appreciate it. And I want to also thank Dr. Ward for the invitation to come and speak to all of you about veterans on this Veterans Day. It was an honor to be invited back. I've always enjoyed coming back home. I'm a Tennessean by birth and by growing up in Tennessee, and as Chris said, attending Middle Tennessee State University and then coming back home after serving in the military and higher education opportunities. But thank you again, and I'm impressed. This front yard looks beautiful with all these flags, and that they honor individual veterans themselves. So thank you for the Veteran Wave initiative, Diane, and all of you who have put it together. Today we celebrate Veterans Day in order to honor our nation's veterans, both past and present. On November 11th, 1918, the 11th month, the 11th day, the 11th hour, World War II armistice was declared. However, Veterans Day was not an official holiday until the following year. On November 11th, 1919, President Woodrow Wilson declared this national holiday in honor of our veterans. And we have been celebrating Veterans Day for over 100 years. I'd like to honor our veterans throughout the entire audience. And in order of establishment, I'd like all Army veterans to please stand. All Army veterans. Thank you for your service. The next senior service, the Navy, would all Navy veterans please stand? They're way in the back up here too. Got a double hit here. And the next service in order of establishment, any Coasties here? Coast Guard members, please stand. And next, United States Air Force. Will they please stand? Our Air Force veterans. So thank you, veterans. Thank you for the applause, the audience, for honoring our veterans. I can tell I better be short and be quick because the rain might douse us. I'd like to dedicate the remainder of my Veterans Day presentation to selfless service. The Army shares their definition of selfless service that makes clear that our veterans have given selfless service by putting the welfare of the nation, our military services, their subordinates, their team members before their own interests. Selfless service is larger than just one person. In serving your country, you are doing your duty without thought of recognition or gain. The basic building block of selfless service is the commitment to each team member to go a little farther, endure a little longer, and look a little closer to see how he or she can add to the effort. Selfless service is the bedrock foundation of our veterans and have displayed time and time again through their military service and their civilian service. I'm sure that even in their civilian service, they continue to provide this selfless service to members of their teams and their organizations. The most outstanding example of selfless service that I could offer are those military members who have been awarded the Medal of Honor. The Medal of Honor was first awarded in 1863, and there have been only 3,527 medals awarded since 1863. There's only one woman who has been awarded the Medal of Honor, and that's Dr. Mary E. Walker, awarded the medal for her medical duties during the Civil War. And there have been 19 service members who have been awarded the Medal of Honor twice. Today, there are only 66 living members who are medal recipients. I have selected one of the citations of the 3,500 medal recipients to demonstrate selfless service that's performed by ordinary service members. Many of you have probably seen the movie Black Hawk Down. I'd like to remind you of the story of the selfless service of two American heroes, Master Sergeant Gary Gordon and Sergeant First Class Randy Schuchart. They distinguished themselves by action above and beyond the call of duty on 3 October 1993, while serving in Mogadishu, Somalia. When Master Sergeant Gordon learned that ground forces were not immediately available to secure a helicopter crash site, he and Sergeant First Class Schuchart volunteered to be inserted to protect the helicopter critically wounded personnel on the ground. Being very well aware of the growing number of enemy personnel closing in on the helicopter crash site. After his third request to be inserted on the ground, Master Sergeant Gordon received permission to perform this mission in support of the downed helicopter crew. When debris and enemy ground fires at the site caused them to abort the first attempted landing, they had to land 100 meters south of the crash site. Equipped with only their rifle and pistol, Master Sergeant Gordon and Sergeant First Class Schuchart, while under intense small arms fire from the enemy, fought their way through a dense maze of shanties and shacks to reach the critically injured helicopter crew members. Master Sergeant Gordon immediately pulled the pilot and the other crew members from the aircraft, established a perimeter while placing him and Sergeant First Class Schuchart in the most vulnerable positions to defend the crew. Master Sergeant Gordon used his rifle and sidearm to kill an undetermined number of attackers until he depleted his ammunition. Master Sergeant Gordon then went back to the helicopter wreckage, recovering some of the crew weapons and ammunition. Despite the fact that he was critically low on ammunition, he provided some of it to the dazed pilot and then radioed for help. Master Sergeant Gordon continued to travel the perimeter protecting the downed crew. After his teammate, Sergeant First Class Schuchart, was fatally wounded and his own rifle ammunition is exhausted, Master Sergeant Gordon returned to the helicopter wreckage, recovered a rifle and the last 5 rounds of ammunition, and gave it to the pilot, Chief Warrant Officer Michael Duran, with the words, "Good luck." Then, only armed with his pistol, Master Sergeant Gordon continued to fight until he was fatally wounded. Their action saved the pilot's life. Master Sergeant Gordon and Sergeant First Class Schuchart, extraordinary heroism and devotion to duty were in keeping with the highest standards of military service and reflected great credit on them and their selfless service to others. They were both awarded the Medal of Honor. This example of selfless service certainly underscores the type of extraordinary men and women that serve our nation both in peace and war and come home as honored veterans. They volunteer to serve and join a team that reinforces selfless service to each other, to our fellow Americans, and to our nation. Those military service members continue to provide selfless service in our hometowns, our communities across America as honored veterans. We applaud their selfless service. Thank you, veterans. You have given selfless service in times of war and peace at home and abroad. I salute you. Thank you very much for your attendance, and I think we beat the rain.
Thank you so much, Dr. Goff. Now, before we close, we're going to ask one more thing of you, please, to our veterans. Our Roane State Instrumental Ensemble is going to play each military branch fight song. When you hear your branch's song played, will you please stand and let us once again honor you. The Marines Hymn. Army theme song. United States Navy. The Coast Guard theme song. United States Air Force. Once again, thank you to our ensemble, Dr. Greenlee. I hope all of you know, because we've said it several times, but again, it bears saying again, from the bottom of our hearts to all of you, thank you. Thank you so much. For those of you wishing to scroll through the flags after this ceremony, if you've not had an opportunity to do that, we invite you to do that now. You will notice the tag colors that are there indicate the branches of service. Names are not in alphabetical order at this time, but we hope to remedy that when we put these back up for Memorial Day. So again, twice a year, you will see these flags put up, and those that we know will be added to them. So again, service tag colors, as well as for our RSCC personnel and students, you will see a Raider red tag. Now, as we are dismissed, so please do that, and please know too that we are inviting you to join us for lunch in the Van Student Center. If you don't know where that is, ask any of our employees or walk, generally speaking, that way. We have carts for those of you who need transportation. So everyone here, not just our veterans, we invite all of you to join us for lunch. Please do that. And you're in for a special treat, because artist Craig Stevens will have a presentation of his work on display to honor our veterans. So very special presentation that we know you will enjoy, as well as some items that are there for you to look through that have been made safe from a variety of the different conflicts and eras throughout our military history. So again, thank you to everyone for being here. Thank you for making this possible. We honor you, and we dismiss you at this time. Thank you so much.